many people who are waiting for this podcast, and I think that it is because of the topic,
Yeah.
because procrastination is actually a big issue for so many people. So welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone to this first episode of our podcast, a hot topic. And yeah, if you are ready, we're gonna dive into the highs and the lows of daily life. We're going to uncover the challenge and the victories that shape our journey. So, thank you for joining us. We will have an insightful and empowering experience tonight with my special guest, Coach Alicia. Hi, Coach Alicia. How are you today?
Hi, Genevieve. I'm doing well. I am actually looking forward to this topic, and
Yeah,
I'm so excited to be your first guest.
yeah.
So thank
And,
you for that.
and you know what? We just experienced how to beat procrastination, right? Don't you think so?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly. So thank you again. So Hot Topic is a podcast where in each episode we will explore the raw and real aspect of life. So each episode will be with a new guest, and I may be sometimes co-hosting with Coach Alicia too, and have some other guests and some speakers to share personal stories, the triumph, and the lessons that we've learned along the way. So, how we overcome the obstacles of our lives and how we celebrated our successes. And we're going to cover all these topics, all these hard topics with authenticity, a lot of heart and fun. So today, the topic of today is procrastination. And I think that there are so many people who are waiting for this topic. And you know what, Alicia? I think that some people may be interested in this topic because the amount of information I have found on this topic shows that so many people are actually interested in knowing how to overcome procrastination, and they try to understand what is procrastination. So, what I really think is that many people are concerned with this topic, but they don't want to talk about it. They don't want sometimes even to acknowledge themselves as procrastinator because it is really, really, an issue. And everybody knows that procrastination is not the best companion of an entrepreneur or business person. So, well, it's a kind of taboo, right? Even though we talk about it a lot. So, let's go right now with my guest, Coach Alicia. So, Coach Alicia is a coach, in a life coach, and her main field is mindfulness. She is also our certified Be Connect expert, and she is a very, very sensitive person. She is someone who is really open-minded, and I'm very happy to have her on this first episode of Hot Topic talking about procrastination. So, Coach Alicia, welcome again. Can you say the two, three words about yourself?
Yes, as Coach Genevieve said, I'm one of the Be Connected expert, and I'm also a coach on personal development. I'm a mom of three. I always talk about that because that's actually one of my favorite things to do, being a
Wow.
mom. And yes, and I'm looking forward to. I'm really excited. I met Coach Genevieve here on Be Connected, and it's been a very amazing experience. I'm learning so much from her, and I'm so grateful to have met her and to be here and doing this topic with her today. So
Yeah.
I won't take up too much of your time. I'll let you dive right into it. I agree with what you said that um, procrastination is such a taboo
Yeah.
topic, and a lot of
Exactly.
people don't really want to
Mhm.
face it or share it, or
Yep.
believe that they procrastinate because they think that it is a horrible thing. And
Exactly.
today I'm hoping that you can share some things that are not just negative, but also is it possible that procrastination can be something positive if you look at
Exactly.
it that way, right?
Exactly.
Let's
So
see.
let's go and let's dive right into the topic.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's start by maybe trying to state on what is procrastination. I mean, I love this image, with this guys with his hands in his pocket and playing with the with the words, actually, right? So,
Oh,
what is procrastination? I have here on my screen a very scientific, if I can say, definition of procrastination. So I don't know if it resonates with you, but it says that procrastination is commonly conceptualized as an irrational. You see that? An irrational tendency to delay required tasks or assignments despite the negative effects of this postponement on the individuals and organization. So this is very serious. What do you think about this definition? Actually,
yeah, it's basically saying that what I'm getting from it is, it actually affects the individual and even an
yeah,
organization or workplace in a very negative way.
exactly. So this is exactly what I think. It is really irrational, right? When we talk about irrational, it seems like most of the chronic, I will say it like this: the chronic procrastinator cannot understand exactly why do they are just delaying everything, important things, in their life. It's really a tendency, and it is most of the time irrational. This is how we can describe it. But let's see some other things, because I'm sure that today we're going to have an interesting takeaway before we leave this podcast. So uh maybe we have to see first what are the whys of the procrastination.
Mhm.
But before starting it, let's see, yes, the whys, and maybe from there we're gonna see some other thing. So can you see well my screen?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
Yeah. So I think that before we go and talk about the effect and all this stuff, that the main thing is to understand, why do people procrastinate. We know what is procrastination. It's the fact, it's like it is described, a kind of irrational tendency to postpone important
Yeah.
things, required things. And when I was looking for these whys,
Mhm.
some of them really, I relate to many of them, because to be honest, yeah. So what do you think about this, Coach Alicia?
Yeah, like a lot of these reasons, I mean, to be honest, most people can see these in themselves if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it. Like we
Exactly.
all have times in our lives when we feel we want to do something and we don't want to fail at it. We don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
judged. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we want to exceed expectations. So,
Yeah.
this is definitely, to me, it's a generalization of things that we go through, as human
Mm-hmm.
beings.
Exactly.
Like, I think that maybe these list of whys, it's like maybe if you have like a list of them instead of say one or two of them, because I think most people will have a couple
Mm-hmm.
of them. So I don't think that, well, it means you're procrastinating if you only have one or two. But it's if you
Yeah.
go on that list and you can check them all off, then
Yeah.
maybe, right?
Yeah. Or yeah, or maybe if you can check at least five of them, maybe you need to, you know,
Well, you see,
yeah.
this is where you and I kind of differ now in terms of structure, because I would say, well, five is okay, but like maybe seven is not okay, or nine is.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do think that, because here we just listed 15 of
Mhm,
this wise, but I'm sure that there may be some other causes that we don't have here, because actually it is really something that, many studies says that they're still trying to understand the
yeah,
psychology behind this tendency, right? So we have here, and I think that if, well, for myself, if you can check mark five of this point, wow, you have to take a rest, and you have to take a big review rest, and look back to yourself, because yeah, fear of failure or being judged, for sure, this is something that we find often with people. I like when I see the number five personality trait, because yes, doing something is some people are decision maker, so they just can go and have things done, and some
mhm,
other have the tendency to, some are a little bit blinded by perfectionism, just like me, and some other may be like, if I do it, they may be bound by some fears, or some lack of motivation, because maybe
mhm,
the task doesn't involve some other people, or are not attractive. So
yeah,
personality trait, this point really resonate to me.
yeah,
Yeah, as you know, because I work a lot with the personality, but
yeah,
there,
yeah.
there are some whys here that we know we don't always take as uh, a serious point, because, like the point 12, for example, when a
Mhm.
task is unrewarding,
Yes,
you may say that, this doesn't have I don't want to, it's not my priority, right?
yes.
you know and but what do you think could be the main causes when we have in this 15 list?
Well, actually, as I'm looking at the list and I look at number 8, and just before we started recording, I was
Mhm.
talking to you about how I feel like the way like my personal life is right in this
Mhm.
moment,
Yeah.
it's I'm not being able to like align with my work life because of what's going on in my
Mm.
personal life. So that in itself could be a way, like, I now could look at that as, oh, am I procrastinating then, because my work life and
Yeah.
my personal life is out of balance in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So there, like I said, there's so much there that we could look at. And like I
Exactly.
also, number 14 was resonating in a way where I do realize that if I
Mm-hmm.
don't have enough information, then
Exactly.
I sometimes may put things off. But
Mm-hmm.
like, and then even sometimes when you finally get all the information you need and you need to put it together, you're like, oh, it seems like, whew. So, then do I look at myself
Yeah.
as
Exactly.
procrastinating, right?
Exactly. The number 14, for me,
Mhm.
is a little bit related to the number 11, when it is not clear about what you have to do.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just read somewhere, and they say that um, sometimes people procrastinated because the goal is not clear, there is no deadline given, and so people can say, okay, there is no it's not an emergency, it's not a priority, so I can just do it after everything, and
Absolutely.
then they don't notice that they are procrastinating again and again on that thing. And
And
mhm,
I I don't know if it's here, but there are some people who they need to be like they need to have like the pressure on. So they will leave things till
mhm,
the last minute and then they'll do it,
mhm.
you know,
Oh,
with a deadline. They'll be like, okay, things are due on on Monday and on
yeah,
Sunday. They're doing it all, but they had like a
yeah,
month to prepare. So like,
yeah.
it's yeah.
It's related to the personality trait, and you know what, we're gonna see it in in a slide. I think on this of 15 points, the number 9 is really my main problem: distractions.
Yeah.
I don't know if, because maybe I have young kids at home and I get distracted very very easily, but actually this is my why. So uh the thing is, I can say that, you know what, Coach Alicia, the struggle is real because there is a very vicious circle, in
Mhm.
the procrastination. So they say that, yeah, people procrastinated, but in fact, procrastinating lead them to keep procrastinating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this circle, can shows it because it's create a kind of feeling of guiltiness and then panic because you realize that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Then you start making excuses and looking around and say, okay, it's because this and this and this. And well, you may eventually find a good excuse and then keep procrastinating, right?
Yeah.
So this is a circle, and yeah, this is how we can sometimes feel trapped. And
Yeah.
yeah, some people say that it's a thief of time, and it's really it's true. It's true. Actually, we can see it like this. So some some causes here that lead to procrastination. What do you think?
Mhm.
Some people may just link procrastination to laziness, and actually that was my first thought about
Mhm.
procrastination. And I
Mhm.
love what I discovered when I was preparing this episode, because look at this image, for example. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the procrastinator are just lazy people. And whenever
Yeah.
I was cope myself in procrastination, I was like, oh no, I'm now so lazy, because that's worse, the main causes for me. But I discovered that no, there are so many other things that can lead to procrastination, right? And many psychological causes like anxiety, people with anxiety, self-doubt and remorses, frustration, guilt. What do you think? How does it resonate with you as a as a coach, self-development coach?
Yeah, like a lot of these words that are used definitely make sense. Like, with
Mhm.
somebody who is procrastinating or who feels that they're procrastinating, sometimes, they're just in a space of they're not sure of what they want to do
Mhm.
next, or like,
Right.
and like, so I think that just going with the understanding that it's maybe they were procrastinating for a while because they just didn't have like guidance. Like, all of
Mm.
these words to me are basically like words that, they don't know where to go, what to do, how to do it, that kind of feeling, it's
Mm.
on that level. So like, going at it as it's not, the way I kind of look at it is it's not a horrible thing that you're procrastinating. You just don't know where you want to be or what you want to be doing. So getting some guidance, but that person also, to get out of procrastination, has to be willing to accept guidance. Like sometimes they may be, in general, is just, in that
Mhm.
point in their life, they might just be, yeah, where they
Yeah,
want to be. going to
What
be
you
there.
said is really interesting. Maybe, oh, Mel Robbins said that you are not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
mean that what you said is exactly that, because you said that maybe you're procrastinating because you need guidance. You
Yeah.
don't know, it's a kind of vicious cycle of bad habit that needs
Mm-hmm.
to be broken. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you need guidance for that to get out of this circle, actually. And yes, and in this cycle, in fact, this is the feelings that you can have: doubt and anxiety and fear and dread, and you don't know how to get out of this cycle.
Exactly.
And yeah, when you don't know where to go, you just stay where you are, actually.
Yeah.
And this
So
is,
I
yeah,
was thinking, so today I hope, for those people listening, there's going to be some points and how to, change if you feel you're a procrastinator, we're going to look at different ways, right? That you
yeah.
can change that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And when we know, all the effect of procrastination, where procrastination leads so many people, you know, and when you start, just like the first slide showed it, it's a kind of circle. You stay inside and you feel like self-deprecation, and it increases stress for sure. You see that
Mm-hmm.
you're wasting time, you have poor performance, and you missed opportunities, and you stay in this bad circle. And well, so let's see some data. It was interesting, but I couldn't imagine. But actually, these data are from the American Psychological Association.
Mm-hmm.
They say that, look at this: 40 94% of college students procrastinate at some level.
Yeah.
80% of workforce procrastinate at least 1 hour a day. Wow. 86% of high school students too, and 20% of adults regularly procrastinate. 20%.
Yeah.
So this is not a small amount. And just to say that, yes, procrastination is in fact is a common situation. But as we said, it's a little bit taboo because it's not a good things. Yeah, nobody can easily accept that, well, I'm a procrastinator, or I procrastinate maybe twice a week on this and this task. But actually, data shows that it is a common issue, if I can call it like that. So
Mm-hmm.
here is the interesting things. You were talking about this and said that some people maybe like to work under pressure, and they like to do things when the deadline is there. And it is actually true, because there
Yeah.
is another face of procrastination, right?
Oh.
So, yeah, they say procrastinate the right way. Do you think that there is a right way to procrastinate?
There you go.
Yeah. So what do you think about the right way of procrastinating? When do you think that procrastination can be something which is not, that bad?
Yeah, like the word procrastination it's been made into that word. So if you hear it, it has a
Mhm,
negative it has a negative connotation. So if say for example, if I'm working on a project and
mhm,
I can't seem to get to the next stage of it. If I were
mhm,
to take a half an hour and
mhm,
I want to meditate, or I want to sometimes even something as simple as watching something that distracts your mind, because that's how creativity works for me. Like I can sit and meditate, and after I'm done, I can
mhm,
go back to that thing that I was doing, or I can watch a show. It's like giving, if especially if I'm sitting there for a while and I
mhm,
don't seem to be able to get to the next level because I don't seem to be able to like, you're trying to build something or create something, and you're like, it's not hitting the way, it's not, resonating or hitting the way you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, that next point that I want to make, it's just not coming, like,
Mm,
so for
yeah.
me, I will take a break. I will go and I will leave it alone, and I will maybe watch something like a favorite show of mine, or like I said, I may meditate.
Mhm. Yeah.
And a lot of the times, like even as something as even taking a nap, like sometimes you get
Yeah.
up, and then when you go back to it, I find that I'm able to and
Oh,
I'm able to actually do more when I do.
amazing. It's just like you re-empower yourself, you
Exactly.
re-energize yourself.
Recharge, yes. Recharge
Yeah,
was
you
yeah.
recharge. Yeah. So, but
Yes.
that's mean that you have to know first what are your re-energizing triggers, like
Yes.
or
Yeah.
sources or maybe connectors, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You are a specialist of meditation. I think that this is one of the things you do very well on the platform, and that helped many people because I see that your group is very active. And I will, yeah, invite people, our guests on this podcast, maybe to go and have a look on your group. So, for example, how meditation, for example, can be for you a tools to re-energize yourself, to come back on track when you feel like you need to procrastinate. This is funny, right? The need to procrastinate.
Yeah, I think for people to understand whether they're procrastinating or not,
Mhm.
it's to see at the end of your day or the end of your week, you have to have a like, am I getting something done? Well, you'll know if you're procrastinating if you had all these assignments and you got nothing done, right? Or you have this work to do that you want to do, and you have nothing done. If you're getting something done, then it's like, yeah, you're taking the time and you're not doing it all in a rush, or but once you that I think that's the difference between maybe taking the time and procrastinating, and understanding the difference. Like,
Mm,
are you
interesting.
getting something done? Like, if you're not, and you're just in this cycle of, oh, I want to do this, and but it's not being done. Oh, I want to do this and it's not being done. Or
Mm,
you're finding excuses not to get it done. Like, then
mm,
that's when it's procrastination. It's like, I want to do this, but like it said in the beginning, there's this fear of other things that you need to work on so that you can get it done. There's a fear of presenting yourself, or there's different fears or different,
mm.
reasons that you use to not
Yeah.
get it done, right?
Yeah, what you said is amazing because actually it's an amazing takeaway. I think to assess your day and to see if this means that you have at the beginning of the day a to-do list or
Mm-hmm.
maybe some goals so that you can assess your day and see if you have things if you have been able to get things done or no. So I would like to just to share a 1 minute video that's very funny, but I'm like I think so. Let me know if you can see my as I start sharing the screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see my screen?
You still have the other face of procrastination is on the screen right now.
Okay, I have to stop
The video.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
All right. So let's see this.
This morning I got up and got ready quickly because I had to get a lot of stuff done. I sat down at my desk to start getting my stuff done, and I spilled my coffee, so I got a sponge to clean it up, and I figured I'd take an extra minute to clean the whole desk because a clean desk would help me get my stuff done. When I was finished, I realized I hadn't eaten anything and I didn't want to be hungry while I got my stuff done, so I went into the kitchen and I was out of cereal. When I got to the grocery store, I remembered a bunch of other crap I needed to get, and I figured I was already there, so I did my shopping for the week so I didn't have to worry about it while I got my stuff done. When I got home, I didn't feel like cereal anymore, and so I made an omelet and I did the dishes so I wouldn't have to do them after I got my stuff done. And then I went out to get some oil from the hardware store because my desk chair is kind of squeaky and I didn't want to be distracted by a squeaky chair while I got my stuff done. When I got back, it was getting kind of late, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get my stuff done today, so I started watching the Twilight Zone marathon on TV. I just have to make sure I get to bed early because I want to be well rested tomorrow so I can get my stuff done.
That's so good.
This is funny, right? So you
Yeah.
have things you have to get your stuff done, and well, and you just don't have the things done, but you keep finding excuses and right, and saying, yeah, because I'm doing this because I have to get my things done, and so on and so on. And you know, this is exactly what we call what this image called the chronic procrastinator, and this is what you were talking about, right? Because what we have to understand is that actually there is another phase of procrastination. We won't say the good procrastination, just like you just said it, because yeah, when we hear procrastination we know that it's a negative word. But actually some people procrastinate it on purpose. They deliberately postpone things and responsibility in favor of more important or productive one. Or maybe they need to recharge. They are in a they feel stuck. They in their creativity and all this stuff, and they feel like they need to recharge, just like Coach Alisa just said. But the problem started when you become when you fall in the second classes, when you become a chronic procrastinator. That's mean that you constantly postpone tasks even to your detriment, because just like this video said, you know that you have things that you have to have your stuff done, but you keep finding excuses that lead you away, very far away from your goals, and at the end of the day you don't do anything. So now we will just finish by this point. The the, the takeaway, what we can share here to help someone. Welcome, Abby, welcome. So these are certain tips for overcoming procrastination, but I'm sure that it's really a short things, because there are many things that we can, it started by knowing yourself, knowing your triggers. Just like I know that now my trigger, one of my main trigger is distraction. So
Mhm.
yeah. So what can you share, above this the 30 tips? Maybe we can go through these 30 tips and say how we can maybe yeah.
for for me I can see here already, like taking a break in
Hmm.
an inch, and like, and one of my things is celebrating my wins. Like I
Yeah.
like, sorry, I was gonna say dividing into small task, my task
Hmm.
into smaller task,
Hmm.
and then celebrating my wins. Because for
Mm.
me, I need to be like, okay, I got some stuff done. And like you
Yeah.
said, like working from home, I find like sometimes I do get distracted. That video really resonated in where in where
Yeah.
I will start my day and I have my list, and
Hmm.
then I will I will validate the excuses like, you know what, I do need to make food for my kids, or
Yeah,
I do need to go and pick up something for them. Like, you know, I do need to do these things. And then I'll do
yeah,
all these little things. And then I was like, well, now I'm tired. I'm just gonna watch a show. So, you know, so
yeah,
it really resonated. It's just that, do I do that on repeat? Like, you know, like,
exactly.
I don't do it on repeat, but I do have days when I get up and I have a list of work things to do, but I'll go do a lot of personal things, and then at
Yeah,
the end of it, I didn't get anything on my list.
yeah. And
Like,
with always the excuses of I have to do this thing in order
yeah,
to have
and the
my stuff done after that.
exactly, and the kids can be a great excuse for it. It's like, okay,
Exactly.
I needed to take care of them, you know,
Yeah.
and so I definitely like when I break down, like I break down into small,
Small.
and then when I've gotten things done, you know, I literally will go and check it off. That's my win.
Exactly.
I did get
Yeah.
3 out of the 5 things done on my list, and then, you know, I feel like I did something.
Yeah, you're right. It's encouraging because we just saw that doubt and maybe discouragement sometimes can lead to procrastination. That's why it's
Exactly.
very something very
Exactly.
sensitive, because if you don't celebrate your wins, by starting by breaking into small task your goals, and then when you see that you can check off one or two things in the day, even though
Mhm.
yeah, that was one of a main point of my coaching program with a client, because she was overdoing, and
Yeah.
she was all the time overwhelmed. She feels like I'm not able to do this thing. I'm not
Yeah.
enough for this job. But we tried this exercise for a month, and she feels better because she was able to celebrate and say, okay, so today I was able to check off 4 tasks. And I say, if your list was 5 tasks, your feelings of achievement will be greater. And
Exactly.
actually, some people are just addicted to overdoing. So
Yeah.
here, this is one tips that we can try, and I'm sure that it will work. It is the first thing is that mm, prioritize your task and your responsibility. Some people just want to do everything uh, uh, on the upper left corner. You know the quadrants of time management.
Mhm.
Yes, in these quadrants you have in the upper corner, the upper left corner, important and urgent, and in at the upper right corner you have not urgent but important. But some people sometimes, they mess up everything and they want to bring all the task and the responsibility in the upper left corner, which is where it is urgent and important. Everything
Mm.
cannot be an emergency. This is
No.
a lie. Everything
Yeah.
cannot be an emergency. So it's important to prioritize. And
Mhm.
like Coach Abby, who just joined the platform recently, who is she's a certified nurses for years in Ohio, and she is now a wellness coach. She just joined the platform, and she is among our the attendee of the
That's
this
amazing.
podcast
Yeah.
today. Yes, Abby Gibson used to told me it's important for people to be indulgent with themselves.
Mhm.
It's important, and I
Absolutely.
used to hear you say that too, right? And then we just see that dividing task into smaller part are a good thing for sure, and
Mhm.
celebrate the small wins to encourage
Mhm.
yourself, right? You
Mhm.
may be a superwoman, a superman, but well, every every day is not all the day are not the same.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Absolutely.
Delegating things also are very important. And we find again this word delegation in in the quadrants of time management.
Mhm.
The quadrant of time management, there is the lower left corner that is important, but not urgent. So
Yeah.
these tasks can be delegated. It
Yeah.
is important, but it's not urgent. So you can ask someone else to do it, you know.
Hmm.
And this is very important. So define the outcome that you want. This is also true because some people get stuck when they don't know where to, what will be the outcome. If they don't have a clear, if they don't have the big picture of the things, they just don't want to go ahead. So get an accountability partner. What do you think about that, Coach Alicia?
It made me smile because we do
Yeah,
that. We do that, and that does help us. I was actually talking about that with someone else. It's like, we are accountability partner to each other, and we
yeah,
come together once a week, and we share what we our plans are for the week, and we work on it. And
right,
we have a space of very open space and non-judgmental, and we work through and we support each other, and that is what,
exactly,
that is really amazing for me. And
exactly.
yeah.
That's an amazing concept to be honest, and it's help us stay accountable of our
Hmm.
goals and of our achievement. So for those who don't know what an accountability partner can mean, or what the role of an accountability partner, just contact the coach Alicia or me on the platform, and we will be glad to help you, you know dive in this concept, which is very, very rewarding for someone who wants to uh, become an achiever. So also try a mindfulness based exercise. This is important. I don't want to go too much on this thing, but this is a very important exercise that you can try if you really want to get rid of procrastination. And once again, Coach Alicia is a personal development and a mindfulness coach. You can reach out to her or to me on the platform, and we can surely can help you work through a program of exercise that can help you. So identify what makes you the most productive, right? It's very important in my coaching of the personality. Identifying your strength, what make you the most productive, it's a very important part of positive psychology. People need to be encouraged, empowered, but what made them more productive, instead of getting focused on what is, what triggers you the most of on the getting out of your growth zone and all these things. So consider the impact on your health too. I think that this is
Hmm.
important. It is a way to have an overall of the effect of procrastination, right? If you know that whenever you procrastinate, you will be, in a situation where you will work under pressure, and you know that you're not someone who can handle pressure, you'd better think about this and the effect on your health, and then try to work on your time management. So be honest with yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know your limits. And as Coach Elisa said, identify when you need help, when you need an accountable partner, when you need someone who can help you go, work out of this circle,
Yeah.
and write down your task and cross them off when you've done. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think that these are 13 tips, but we can have maybe, 100 other tips that can help. Mel Robbins also say that it's the bad circle of, it's a circle of bad habits.
Yeah.
As we know, a habit can't be broken, actually. A habit can just be replaced. So when you have a bad habit, instead of struggling to saying that I'm gonna give up on this habit, I'm gonna break it, you'd better find a better one, a good habit to replace this bad habit. And I think that this
Absolutely.
is why many people fails on working on um, uh, developing good habits. They
Hmm.
are focused on their bad habits and how they can get rid of this bad habit. A habit can only be replaced. And when you replace a bad habit with a good habit, then you can start uh, experiencing something new, some breakthrough. Right. So, what can be your takeaway for someone who is watching this podcast and, yeah, would like to have, after this interesting tips, your special takeaway?
My takeaway from this is, if you're watching this and you believe that, yeah, I procrastinate, don't see it as a bad thing, because I think that those are the things that keep us stuck when we
Mm-hmm,
think, oh my goodness, I'm this way, and I'm struggling to change it. Um, just to try to change your mindset,
mm-hmm,
you know, it's like, don't put yourself down, like, this is just a thing, it is just a thing, and the energy that you give to it is what comes out. So if you are like Coach Genevieve said, if you are in this space and you feel that way, then start thinking, how can I change this into a positive? What
mm-hmm,
are some of the things I can do? Like, what, and small things, like, like make a list, or
mm-hmm,
maybe journal the reasons why you feel you procrastinate. Like,
mm-hmm,
something that I do a lot of is I journal a lot, and journaling, sometimes, when you have things rolling around in your head, and
mm-hmm,
you don't feel comfortable speaking them to someone, because,
mm-hmm.
again, because procrastination is a taboo, so you may
Yeah,
not want to
correct.
say this
Mm-hmm,
to someone. So
mm-hmm,
just write it all down, because a lot of the times what I find is, when I write down the thoughts that I'm having, that I'm thinking, oh, it's a struggle and I can't do this and I can't do that, when I write it down, it becomes a thing on a piece of paper. Now it's
mm-hmm.
out of my head,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I look
yeah,
at it and I think to myself, oh, it's not that much of a big deal. Once you put it on paper, you look at it and
yeah.
it's like,
Amazing.
I've been worrying over this. you know
Exactly. It's just like you unload something that was,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So if you're not in the position to have an accountability partner that you can openly discuss these things with, writing
Mm-hmm.
it down, is like a start. And then you can go through why, like, the whys. Like, so why am I afraid of talking about this? And
Mm-hmm.
when you break it down little by little, sometimes it's you realize that, wow, it's not that much. And then you may, talk to someone about it. I find for myself, sometimes when I'm going through a process and it feels like I'm not getting anywhere, and I
Mm-hmm.
talk to somebody about it, as soon as I speak it out loud, it
Yeah.
becomes different. It just changes. It's like you
Exactly.
release yourself of it.
Exactly. Exactly. This is very true. Well, so thank you so much, Coach Alicia. And this was your takeaway for this first episode of Procrastination. I'm sure that for those who just joined us after this time, you may be able to watch the replay on YouTube and on the platform and get some more insight. And I'm sure that the more you will watch this and listen this podcast, you will understand better maybe what you are facing and how to get out of this procrastination. So thank you, Coach Alicia. This was a voice for change, and I truly believe that a change will, occur just after this episode for someone. I truly believe it. So thank you again for our attendee of today, and see you soon in our next episode of Hot Topic. Thank you, Coach
Mhm.
Alicia. See you soon.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
being with
Thank
me
you
today.
for Yes, thank you for the invite. It was a very enjoyable topic.
Yeah, it was. Thank for being here too. Thank for being here.
Absolutely.